So if I click on edit, it's going to take me to the edit page, but there is nothing here. So we need to display the form that's going to allow you to edit any employee's information. So how can we do that? To do that, first of all, I'm going to create a new file here. I'm going to create a new file called edit form. So here I'm going to say new file, and then I'm going to say edit employee form.html. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to return here in the views in the edit employee form, instead of using the HTTP response, I'm going to say render, and then I'm going to pass the request, and then comma, and then the blog /edit employee form.html. And let me save and let me head on over to the edit employee form and add the code. So to add the code, we can use the employee form to in the edit employee form. So I'm going to copy the code from here. I'm going to copy the complete code, and then in the edit employee form, I'm going to paste the code, because the code basically is going to be the same. The code is going to be almost the same except for a few things. So let me save and let me head on over to the browser to test. So if I go to let me go to the browser and let me refresh. Let me click on edit. If I click on edit, it's going to take me to the create employee, but actually this is not true. It took me to the edit employee form, but the edit employee form has the same exact code. So we need to edit here the HTML code here. So instead of saying in the edit employee form, instead of saying create employee, we need to say edit employee info. And instead of displaying nothing here, let me refresh first. If I refresh, it's going to say here edit employee form, edit employee information. And here, instead of displaying nothing, we need to display the information that the employee is currently the current employee's information. And also here we need to say edit employee or edit information. So here the button is going to say edit employee info. Edit employee info, and the values, we need to display the current values here in these fields. How can we do that? To do that, we need to make a query to the database and get the current information of the user. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get the information of the user. So I'm going to say, what I'm going to say is that I'm going to, here in the views, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say here, I'm going to say employee, and then dot objects, and then dot get, and then we need to get the employee that has this ID. So I'm going to say here pk primary key is equal to employee ID, employee underscore ID, and this is going to return the information about a specific employee. So I'm going to say employee is going to be equal to employee dot objects dot get, and then get employee that has this ID. And finally, I'm going to pass that employee to the edit employee form. So here I'm going to say curly brackets, and then I'm going to say here in the edit employee form, I am going to say employee, and the key is employee here. The key here is employee, and the value is employee. And in the edit employee form now, in the edit employee form, I can display the information here in these fields. So here in the name, I can say value, and the value is going to be equal to double curly brackets, and then employee name, employee.name. For the email, you can do the same. You can say here value, and then double curly brackets, and then employee dot email. For the job, value is going to be employee dot job. For the salary, we can do the same here, value, and the value is going to be employee dot salary. Let me now save and let me head on over to the browser to test. So in the browser, if I refresh now, it should display the current information of that user. So here it says Mark, the email, and the software developer, and the salary. And if you want to edit, you need to change one of these or all of them, and then click on edit. And of course, this edit button is not functional, so we need to work on it later.